Hello students, in today's lecture number 4 we will study about fluid power distribution and its losses. So the size of pipe which you are going to use in the fluid power application is very critical. If the size is less than necessary, then the oil has to force through a constricted cross sectional area that will cause a high amount of friction and heat generation. So because of that, energy is lost during the because of the heat generation. And if the size of the conductor which carries the fluid in the fluid power system is more than necessary, then the power transmission will be good, heat generation will be low, but at the same time the cost of installation will go up. So because of all these reasons, the size of the fluid power uh, conductor has to be optimum. That means it should not be too much more or it should not be too much less. At the same time, we can install more than one type of hydraulic fittings or more than one type of conductors in the same hydraulic machine. Now the the material which are used to convey the fluid power are commonly known as conductor, and the various fittings which are connecting these components are classified as connectors. Okay, so let us study one application. Now you can see this in the image. There is a excavator machine. So here we can find there is a steel pipe to carry the hydraulic fluid, as well as there is a flexible hose. Steel pipe is connected to the fixed part of the machine and flexible hose is connected to the moving actuator of the machine. So depending on the area of application, the selection of fluid carrying conductors will change. So the here the standard which you usually follow, you can see that it's DIN 2391. Now most of the pipe sizes in hydraulic fittings you will find in inches, because most of these manufacturers of these hydraulic fittings are European, so they follow inch system. So this is nothing but a simple example of standard as well as the hydraulic fitting which is used. So this is a flexible hose. It has a barbed wire inside to give a strength to that particular tubing. So you can see that in this particular image the hydraulic fittings are used at the excavator machine. These are connected to the moving actuator of the machine, that means the somewhat movable part of a machine, so that will give us a flexibility. Now there are some crimping hose and fittings where the fixed connector is connected to the flexible connector with the help of crimping tool, with the help of crimp fittings. You can see that this is a steel pipe which is connected to this flexible hose here with this crimp fitting. This is another example. You can easily see that on the fixed part of a machine the steel tubes are used, and on the movable part of a machine a flexible hose is used. So you must able to identify where which type of fitting we have to use. So this is nothing but the table for pipe fitting in mm. You can see that tube outer diameter 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There are some different sizes for inner tube and outer tube and wall thickness, depending on the application and depending on the pressure which you have to handle. So you can see that 12, 14, 16, 12 to 2, then 25, 28, 30, 38, 42. These are different sizes, and tube inner diameter and wall thicknesses are different for each. Now the important part of a hydraulic system is hydraulic reservoir, which carry hydraulic fluid, or which stores the hydraulic fluid. So it has got construction like a box. Okay, it has got a baffle plate to guide the hydraulic fluid inside the inside it. So you can see that uh, from from a inlet line, the pump actually pumps the hydraulic fluid, and from return line the fluid enters into this reservoir. Now the construction of this reservoir, there is a this part, this bottom which you see is not exactly straight, it is somewhat inclined in nature, so that the impurities which get carried out while by the return fluid from the circuit can be settled at the bottom of this reservoir tank. So there are two types of filtering device which are used in a hydraulic circuit. One is filter and another one is called a strainer. So filters are devices whose primary function is to retention and by some of the porous medium of insoluble contaminant from the fluid. So filters actually filters some of the insoluble contaminant from the moving hydraulic fluid. So whereas hydraulic strainer is a coarse filter, fluid flows more or less straight through it. A strainer is constructed of a fine wire mesh screen, or screening consists of a specially processed wire or of varying thickness wrapped around a metal frames. It does not provide a fine screening action as filters do, but offers less resistance to the flow, and it is used in a pump suction line where the pressure drop must be kept at to the minimum. That means if you see this diagram here, at the inlet line you will install strainer, and somewhere in the hydraulic circuit where you want to remove the impurities, there you install filter. So there is a difference between filter and a strainer. There are various type of filters. Okay, depending on their filtering method, they can be classified as mechanical or absorption type of filter. According to the location of filter, they can be classified as intake or inline filter, pressure line filter, and return line filter. So the beta ratio is not beta ratio of the filter is very essential, that will determine its efficiency or the size of particle it can catch. So this is a simple numerical which will tell you that how to calculate the beta efficiency for the filter. So beta ratio is nothing but the number of upstream particle of size greater than n micrometer divided by number of downstream particle of the size greater than n micrometer. Beta efficiency is nothing but number of upstream particles minus number of downstream particles upon number of upstream particles. That means how much the filtration is achieved. That is nothing but the beta efficiency. So beta ratio, you can easily see that it's just a ratio, so it doesn't have any unit. Okay, so it is nothing but the ratio of how much particles a filter can filter at the upstream side it has, and how much particle it has at the downstream for a particular size. So it's a probabilistic ratio actually. Okay, it is not exact ratio, so there involve a probability. So because of that, you can see that beta 2575 it is indicated, means that 75 particles larger than 25 microns, if they are present in the hydraulic fluid, then 74 can be captured by filter and one particle will be left to the downstream side. So because of which beta efficiency is 75 minus 1 upon 75, that is 98%. So beta rate is indicating the probability of escaping the particle of a specific size from the filter. So as we have seen in this particular case, one particle get escaped, so that is nothing but a beta rate. Okay. So result of a bad fluid power system design. What will happen if we somehow mistaken the fluid power system design? Then conductors may cost unnecessarily, insufficient system operation, part may permanently fail, or they may fail prematurely, uh, or disassembly may be more difficult than necessary during the servicing. So the maintenance is very critical part of a hydraulic system. Most of the common causes of hydraulic system breakdown are clogged dirty filters, inadequate supply of oil, leakage of seal, loose inlet lines, incorrect type of oil which is used in the circuit, excessive oil temperature, excessive oil pressure, energy losses in the valves, fittings, various type of plumbings such as bends, couplings, tees, elbows, filters, strainers, etc. are used to in a hydraulic system. The nature of path through the valve and the fitting determines the amount of energy which get lost. Okay, so whatever the heat which is getting generated in the hydraulic circuit, that is removed with the help of heat exchangers if it is required. Cause of heat energy losses are pump chatter, overheating, loss of pressure, misalignment of actuating cylinders. So hydraulic energy get lost because of the pump chatter. Pump chatter we will see in later half. Overheating of the hydraulic oil, loss of pressure, and misalignment of the hydraulic actuator. The causes of insufficient operation are contamination, air leakage in the system, improper hydraulic oil, and poor packing system in the used in a hydraulic circuit. So these are some causes. So how to maintain a hydraulic system, which is very critically important. First, to regularly cleanness is important. Second, oil filter change at the periodic level. Then draining of the system and replenishment of the oil is required. Cleaning and flushing of the system is required. Filling, replenishing, then prevention of leaks from the system, and preventing overheating of the system is required. So how to avoid the water in hydraulic system? As we have seen in previous video, that formation of moisture and getting that moisture getting converted into water is very dangerous for hydraulic system. So intake lines of the hydraulic fluid should be at least 2 to 3 inches above the floor of reservoir. This will cause this will reduce the catch of moisture and reduce the cavitation. Okay, or the pressure drop in the system, so it will avoid the formation of moisture. So efficient filters of proper sizes need to be installed in the circuit depending on the application and the nature of contamination of the application zone. Then the checking of the physical condition of the oil regularly. Then designing reservoir according to accommodate the amount of water. That means you have to presume that there must be some amount of water may get formed in the hydraulic system. So you have to presume that, and then you have to design your system accordingly. So the 3 golden rules should not be broken in hydraulic circuit. That proper selection of the hydraulic fluid is very necessary, cleanliness of the hydraulic system is very necessary, and reasonably careful maintenance is also required. So that is all for this lecture. Next lecture we will start with the pumps. Thank you.